Welcome everyone. Today I'm comparing two of the biggest players in the cloud storage market alongside a smaller privacy-focused alternative. I'm talking about, well, Dropbox, the big one, right? Google Drive, another big one. And I'm talking about pCloud. Three providers that could be more different despite all doing essentially basically the same thing. And if you're trying to decide between them in 2025 or beyond, you're not just picking a place to dump your files. You're choosing an entire digital ecosystem that's going to shape how you work, how you collaborate, and protect your data for years to come. Now, let me be clear about why this comparison matters. These aren't just random cloud storage services. Dropbox literally invented the modern file sync experience back in 2008 and still commands the respect of creative professionals worldwide. Meanwhile, Google Drive has become the default choice for anyone already living in Google's ecosystem, which is basically everyone these days, with seamless integration across Gmail, Google Photos, and their entire productivity suite. And pCloud, well, they've been quietly building what might be the most compelling value proposition in cloud storage, especially if you're thinking like long-term private storage. I'm going to walk you through 5 critical areas where these services either shine or stumble: features and functionality, day-to-day usability, security and privacy, performance and speed, and finally, obviously, pricing and value. And by the end, you'll know exactly which service deserves your data and, most importantly, maybe your hard-earned cash. And be sure to stick around until the end of the video as I reveal my personal favorite. And just so you know, this one is a bit longer, so grab your favorite beverage and let's see how these 3 cloud storage juggernauts compare to each other, shall we? Let's start with features, an area with some obvious differences. For instance, Google Drive doesn't just want to store your files, it wants to be your entire office. The integration with Google Workspace is so seamless that it almost feels like magic. You can create documents, you can conjure spreadsheets and presentations directly in your web browser, right? Want to collaborate in real time with teammates? Well, you can do that, and Google Drive automatically saves everything. No one needs to remember to save a file. It's always there, even if it's 5 people, 10 people. The commenting system is brilliant for leaving feedback on a document, and the revision history means you can track changes down to individual words. It is just that powerful. And what really sets Google Drive apart is how it connects to everything else Google offers. I can save Gmail attachments directly to my Google Drive with one click. Google Photos integration means my phone automatically backs up pictures. And with the Google Workspace Marketplace, I can connect third-party apps like Zoom, I can use DocuSign, I can use Evernote. It's like a Swiss Army knife when there's the right tool for every situation I might need in my business. Dropbox, on the other hand, takes a complete different approach. Instead of trying to be everything to everyone, they've really focused on making file sync and collaboration absolutely top tier. The real magic happens with their third-party integrations as well. You get native support for both Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace, which means you can edit Office documents or Google Docs directly within Dropbox without ever leaving the platform. But Dropbox has been building its own ecosystem too. Dropbox Paper is a solid alternative to Word or Google Docs, but won't outright replace either. They've even added a backup feature, which is great as long as you have enough space, right? It won't replace dedicated backup services like iDrive or Backblaze or your local backup with a network-attached storage device, but it works pretty well. I'll leave a link in the description below for our most recent Dropbox review, and it goes into all the different apps and services Dropbox offers. Dropbox built-in PDF editing lets you annotate documents without needing additional software. And Dropbox Sign handles electronic signatures seamlessly for creative professionals. Features like Replay streamline video feedback and approval processes, which explains why so many filmmakers and YouTubers even swear by storing their files in Dropbox. In many ways, Dropbox enables your productivity as much as Google Drive does. And then there's pCloud. And honestly, this is where things get a bit frustrating. From a pure feature standpoint, pCloud falls behind the competition. There's no real-time collaboration. There's no document editing on desktop. There's no integrated Office suite. You can't even you can't comment on files. What you get instead is a very solid multimedia player that's actually quite impressive for organizing and playing your music files, and organizing video files and previewing them as well if you're more on the professional spectrum of things, right? Basic file sharing with password protection and expiration dates are other features of note that I particularly like. And pCloud does stand out for its backup capabilities. You can automatically import files from Google Drive, Dropbox, Facebook, and OneDrive directly into your pCloud account. It's like having a central hub for all your scattered files, right? And, well, the nice thing is you're backing them up. There's always a security version available for you in case something else happens to your Google account. But beyond that, pCloud is focused on being excellent at the fundamentals rather than reinventing what cloud storage can be. Now, block level sync is the final feature worth mentioning here. Google Drive does not support block level sync, which frankly, yeah, it amazes me. If I make a change to any file, no matter how small, Google Drive updates the whole thing, right? This is fine, like for simple docs, it's fast, it's easy, but you will notice a difference when making small tweaks to exceptionally large files, right? And that might be a deal breaker for a lot of people, because if you make a change to a file erroneously and you want to go back to a previous version, that doesn't work if it takes too long to upload, right? Dropbox's block level sync is probably the most sophisticated. Only uploading parts of files that have actually changed is pretty efficient when it comes to Dropbox, and works very well. pCloud supports it too, which helps with fast data sync, obviously. And when I'm working with large files in my pCloud account, it takes no time at all for my data to sync, which is super nice, and something that I've actually come to expect from a modern cloud storage service. When it comes to features, Google Drive clearly wins for everyone who wants a full productivity suite, and Dropbox takes second place with excellent collaboration tools and superior third-party integration. And pCloud comes in last here because, well, that's by design. They're intentionally keeping things simple. There are no fancy integrations available for you. Let's move on to something that's pretty important to the non-techie folks here that also watch my channel. I know you've emailed me, and that's fine. I love to hear your comments. And this is usability. And this is where personal preference really start to matter. I've been using all three services extensively. I told my grandma to use all three services, and if they pass the grandma test, then it means they're really easy to use, right? So the day-to-day experience of all three services varies dramatically. Google Drive feels basically the most intuitive, I would say, if you're already familiar with other Google products. And most of you have used Google Mail and probably also Google Drive in some shape or form. The interface is clean, the search functionality is outstanding, and everything loads quickly. Although, I will admit that for me personally, Google Drive isn't the most lovely thing to look at. It's like it doubled down on the minimalist approach, which can be a plus for some, I guess. But yeah, sometimes I just want to have a little bit more color in my user interfaces, but that's just me. Google Drive's web app is easy to use. I particularly like the reliable offline access. I also need to mention how solid its mobile apps are across both iOS and Android. The automatic photo backup works in the background. Just make sure to give it the right permissions, right? And one thing I really appreciate about Google Drive is also how it handles large file uploads. The system breaks files into chunks and uploads them in parallel, which means if your connection drops, it resumes exactly where it left off when you're back online. Super handy if you are on the road, if you're traveling, if you have flaky Wi-Fi. I mean, that's just a godsend. All right, now onto Dropbox. It has always prided itself on its ease of use, and it really shows. The desktop app integration is pretty seamless. You can share files directly from your File Explorer without ever opening a browser. Smart Sync is brilliant for managing local storage. I can keep files in the cloud while still seeing them in my folder structure. And when I need to access a cloud-only file, it downloads automatically. So Dropbox is super well designed, and there's no arguing that. And what I find interesting about Dropbox is how it essentially, while you work, it gets out of your way. There is no learning curve. You can just use it like any other folder on your computer. The whole experience feels polished, and obviously they've been around since 2008, so they had some time to develop the user interface. And now the Dropbox mobile apps offer an equally smooth experience, right? Document sharing and scanning works better than most dedicated scanner apps, to be honest, and the photo backup is pretty robust. I can upload automatically on command. I can't tell you how often the automatic camera upload feature has saved me. Like when my phone broke after a recent weekend getaway, before I could manually back up all my photos, all good. Dropbox had me covered. And it basically grabbed all the photos already and uploaded them to the cloud. pCloud strikes a middle ground between essentially functionality and simplicity. The interface is clean, but not particularly innovative. What sets it apart from the others is pCloud Drive. I love its functionality. It creates a virtual drive on your computer that doesn't take up local storage space unless you specifically mark files for offline access. And that is just brilliant, especially if you're on the road. If I take my travel laptop that only has 256 gigabyte of storage space, I only get the files that I need. Brilliant. And I can still see what is available to me. The pCloud web interface is responsive and it's modern, though it's not as feature-rich as the competition. It can feel maybe a little bit stiff around the edges. So for file preview works well for most formats. And I mentioned before, the multimedia player is surprisingly capable. And the mobile apps are functional, yeah, but they feel a bit basic, at least when compared to Dropbox or Google Drive. For pure usability, I'd rank Google Drive first for its intuitive design and powerful features. Dropbox second for its essentially rock solid reliability and transparent operation, and pCloud third, mainly due to how well the other two look and feel. So it's a pretty tough bar essentially to reach. Now, let's talk about security and privacy, because this is where the differences become really significant. And for me, it is where my choice might be swayed the most. First off, I'll note that all three services implement the same encryption protocols. Google Drive, Dropbox, and pCloud use AES 256-bit encryption for data at rest and TLS for data in transit. Both of these are really strong encryption protocols that have yet to be cracked. So, on a basic level, your data is secure with all of the three services, right? But here's a thing that makes some people a little bit uncomfortable. Google's business model is built on data analysis, right? I mean, we all know that. Their privacy policy clearly states that it can scan your files for various purposes, including improving their services and showing relevant ads. That means that they will 100% use all your files for training their AI. I'm sure of it. In practice, this means Google can access your files, if required, also by law enforcement or, as I mentioned before, for its own business purposes. And perhaps most notably, Google doesn't offer true client-side encryption. And what does that mean, though? With client-side, sometimes called zero-knowledge or end-to-end encryption, only you are in charge of your decryption keys. Without this, Google holds onto this vital information that protects your data. We've made a lot of videos on this about zero-knowledge encryption here on CloudWords. We also listed the best services for zero-knowledge encryption, so I'll leave the links in the description box. And also, you can click on the video here that really goes into depth about what zero-knowledge encryption is and what are the best providers. So make sure to stick around. And also, if you feel that some of these services that I've just covered are worth your while, I leave also links to these services directly in the description box below. Let me know which service you chose in the end, and I'll be happy to read your comments. But now, let's go a little bit further with the privacy aspect of things, because if you look at Google, it essentially holds this vital information that protects your data. And for many people, this trade-off is worth it for convenience and features, but it's something to be aware of. And it's something I've never really been comfortable with. If you want a more detailed breakdown, check out our Google review of Google Drive on cloudwords.net, or also here in this video channel. You can read through it or watch the video, whatever you prefer. And Google's data centers are secure, yes, that's true. And they're also distributed globally. But most are in the US, which means privacy laws are typically not on your side. One step you can take to secure your account is to enable two-factor authentication, and this adds like another step to the login process and protects your account from having your login credentials stolen. And Dropbox takes security, it takes it seriously, but suffers from many of the same problems that Google Drive does here. It does support two-factor authentication, which I certainly recommend you enable. However, like Google Drive, Dropbox doesn't offer client-side encryption. The company can access your files when required, and Dropbox has had some security incidents in the past, including a significant breach in 2012, but the response and subsequent security improvements have been commendable. They're also primarily US-based, which has similar privacy implications, obviously, to Google Drive. Security and privacy are where pCloud separates itself from these two competitors because pCloud offers something the others don't: client-side encryption. The catch is that it costs extra, about $50 per year or $150 for lifetime access. Privacy is a big deal for pCloud. Based in Switzerland, it does have a significant advantage on this front. Swiss privacy laws are among the strongest in the world, and the country has a strong tradition of protecting digital privacy rights. So pCloud's privacy policy is cleaner than Google's or Dropbox's, collecting less personal data and not using your files for advertising purposes. And this is a big green flag for me. For security and privacy, pCloud is the clear winner, as it's the only option that offers client-side encryption. It sucks that it's a paid add-on, but I'll take client-side encryption for any extra fee over no client-side encryption at all, at least for my most important documents. So we're talking about tax documents, we're talking about health records, anything that you don't want any third party to see. Dropbox and Google Drive come in at a distant second and third, respectively, in this regard. Performance and speed are where I can share some real-world data that might surprise you. I conducted extensive testing using a Windows virtual machine in Dublin with a 1 gigabit per second connection, first throttled to 100 megabits per second for stability, and then I really cranked up to full speed to 1 gigabit per second. I uploaded and downloaded 5 gigabytes of mixed file types on all three services. The results were pretty eye-opening. pCloud absolutely dominated the speed tests. Upload times averaged just over 7 minutes, and downloads were even faster, coming in under 7 minutes. But the real magic happened during the unlimited speed tests. pCloud jumped from 10 megabytes per second to 58 megabytes per second for uploads, averaging 40 megabytes per second throughout. Downloads showed similar performance. And yes, pCloud is that fast. I'll leave a link to pCloud in the description box below. If speed is your top priority, sign up through one of our links. That gives you also the best discount available on the web right now, especially if you are interested in the lifetime plans that I'm going to discuss in a little bit in this video, so stay tuned. What impressed me most about pCloud was its stability at high speeds and relatively low CPU usage. The service handles large files particularly well, though speeds can vary depending on file types. Google Drive came in second with upload and download times right around 7 minutes each. And during unlimited speed tests, Google Drive started around 20 megabytes per second and peaked at 32 megabytes per second, with occasional dips to 5 megabytes for larger files. CPU usage remained very low throughout testing, and the overall experience felt smooth and pretty predictable. On the unthrottled connection, the speeds only improved slightly, which is pretty disappointing for a service with such enormous infrastructure. Now, Dropbox performed respectably with upload and download times of just over 7 minutes. What I found interesting was how Dropbox's performance varied throughout the test. It would start slowly, then suddenly jump to around 55 megabytes per second midway through both uploads and downloads. However, once it hit peak speed, it maintained performance and CPU usage was also on the lower end. And Dropbox managed to make slightly better use of the unthrottled connection speed than Google Drive did, but it was still nowhere near pCloud's blazing fast speeds. For pure speed and performance, pCloud wins handily, followed by Google Drive with Dropbox in third place. However, All three services are fast enough for most use cases, and the differences might not be noticeable during like everyday use. But if you are a video producer, if you deal with large files constantly and need to upload them at speed, then yes, this will be a crucial decision for you. Now, all services are fast, so it might not really be a deal breaker for you to choose, for example, Google Drive if integrations are super important, right? But if top speeds are of your main concern, then pCloud is certainly a worthy contender to look at. Finally, I promised we would get into pricing. Let's talk about it. Because let's be honest, this is the deciding factor for many of us. Not only if you're an individual, also if you're a business, if you deal with multiple licenses, this can be very important. The pricing landscape has shifted dramatically in 2025, with some services raising prices significantly, while others maintain competitive rates. So it's always interesting to update these videos. And if you're interested for more comparisons and more videos and more updates on how the market is developing, do subscribe here, because then you don't miss any of our videos. And also, obviously, you support the channel. Google Drive's free plan remains the most generous at 15 gigabytes, right? There's no denying. Shared across Drive, Gmail, and Google Photos. One important thing to note here is, though, you can't just like buy storage space for Google Drive. You'll have to subscribe to a larger Google One ecosystem. From a value proposition, it's not really a bad deal, right? Google One starts at about $2 per month for 100 gigabyte and $10 for 2 terabytes, or $20 for 2 terabytes with AI features. And for business plans, you can sign up for Google Workspace, right? Prices range from $7 to $22 per user per month. But these include full office suites, business email, and advanced collaboration tools, right? So there's a lot going on if you go the Workspace route. Dropbox free plan is still stingy at just 2 gigabytes, right? They started, I think in 2008, they started even with 2 gigabytes and are still at 2 gigabytes. They haven't changed that model because obviously they want to convert you into a paying customer. They don't want to give you much storage for free because that's not their business model. You can earn up to 16 gigabytes through referrals, but then again, it's a bit laborious and it's not instant, right? In today's digital landscape, well, 2 gigabytes is almost an insult in my book. Paid plans start at around $12 per month for 2 terabytes on the Plus plan. And for about $20, you can opt for the professional plan with 3 terabytes or the family plan with 2 terabytes shared among 6 users. Dropbox pricing has become quite expensive, especially considering like what you get. The professional plan does include advanced features like watermarking, password protection, extended version history. But yeah, you're really paying a premium for the Dropbox brand and ecosystem. And pCloud's pricing model is, it's different from both Google Drive and Dropbox, because the free plan, for one, offers 10 gigabytes if you're willing to complete simple tasks. It's not like Dropbox where you have to refer people and really keep asking for people to sign up for Dropbox. No, it's just like really simple tasks, right? That get you to the 10 gigabytes of free storage. Paid plans, on the other hand, start at around $5 per month for 500 gigabyte or $10 per month for 2 terabytes. But the real value comes from, drumroll, lifetime plans. Roughly $200 for 500 gigabyte, $400 for 2 terabytes, or just $1,200 for 10 terabytes. Now, if that sounds interesting to you, do check out the links in the description box below, because we always have the best deals on these subscriptions, especially if there's a Black Friday deal going on or any other deal. Make sure to click on one of our links to get the most storage space at any time. Now, I hear you. You say lifetime storage. Oh, it's not the lifetime of, it's not your lifetime. It's the lifetime of the company. Yes, you're right. If pCloud goes bust, obviously, that's a shame, right? So your mileage may vary, but it really depends on how long will the provider stay in business. pCloud has been in the business for the past 10, 12 years. So good track record there, but obviously no guarantee they will be here forever. And paying that much upfront might seem steep, but still, let me put this in perspective for you. If you're currently paying $10 per month for cloud storage, you'll spend Yeah, obviously easy math, $120 per year, right? The pCloud 2 terabyte lifetime plan costs $399 currently, depending on, sometimes you get deals, sometimes not, but let's just assume it'll cost $399, right? Which means it pays for itself in less than 3.5 years. That's not a big time span, to be honest. There's no, oh, we're increasing our prices. There's no, oh, we don't offer this feature anymore. This is lifetime plan, guaranteed features, anything you need in your cloud storage, very solid deal. If you use cloud storage for a decade, which really most people do because once you sign up for cloud storage, you rarely change, you'll save over $800 compared to other subscription plans. And the lifetime plans are generally lifetime. I mean, I had the disclaimer before, but they've never changed anything about the lifetime plans before. Not removed features, not increased pricing, not strong-arm people into using some services that they offer to continually, nothing like that. So for nearly a decade now. And early adopters are now basically enjoying the services for free. The only additional costs are optional add-ons like the client-side encryption that I mentioned or extended file version history. And the good news is that pCloud routinely runs special offers and discounts like free encryption when you buy a lifetime plan. So keep your eyes open, especially in this video. We have the links in the description box below and also on cloudwords.net where you can read up on the review and also find the best discounts possible for any cloud storage service available, because we've been also in it for quite some time, for over 10 years now, and we have special relationships with these cloud storage services, so they give us the deals first before anyone else, and you can make use of that, obviously. And the good thing is you support the channel, because that's how we can create these really in-depth reviews for you. And if you like that, give it a thumbs up and leave your comment in the video. Now, in terms of value for money, pCloud dominates if you're thinking long-term and don't need advanced productivity features. Google Drive offers excellent value if you need the full ecosystem of apps and services. Dropbox is the most expensive, but might be worth it for creative professionals who rely on its unique features and integrations. So, yeah, you want me to declare a winner, right? Who wins overall? Unfortunately, I have to say it depends, right? Because it depends on what you actually need. I say this almost in every video. I have another channel about coffee makers, and people ask us, hey, what's the best coffee maker? Well, it depends. If I had a channel about cars, I would also probably say, hey, what's the best car? Well, again, it depends what you need. But let me give you my honest assessment after extensive testing. If you want the best all-around service with excellent features, solid performance, and reasonable pricing, well, Google Drive is hard to beat, right? The 15 gigabyte free plan is generous, the productivity suite is genuinely useful, and the ecosystem integration is, it's unmatched, right? It's particularly compelling if you're already using Gmail, Google Photos, or any Google services. For creative professionals, remote teams, or basically anyone who prioritizes rock-solid file sync and collaboration, Dropbox remains the gold standard. And yes, is expensive, but the reliability, the integrations, the specialized features justify the cost for many people. And if you're working with large media files or need advanced sharing controls, Dropbox is certainly worth a premium. pCloud is, for me, the value champion, especially for long-term thinkers. And I know a lot of you are these long-term thinkers here. If you primarily need secure storage with good performance and don't require extensive collaboration features, the lifetime plans offer incredible value. The Swiss privacy laws and client-side encryption make it super attractive as well for privacy-conscious users or for anyone essentially handling sensitive information. Now, I promised in the beginning of the video that I would give you my personal favorite of the three, and why. And if you made it this far into the video, well, thank you very much. All right, let's drum roll. For me, pCloud is the choice. The value for money and the option to have a fully private folder outweighs the productivity and collaboration tools I'd be giving up. But let's be real here, because I don't have to use only pCloud, right? What I do and what I do in my business is I combine and mix and match the tools that fit my situation currently the most. So I have pCloud for my bigger media storage files that I use here in the video production. And I use other cloud storage services too to back up these files. So I don't only rely on pCloud. I use it as my go-to, but there are other services in play, right? And then I use Google for free, essentially the free version, to handle all my document and collaboration needs, because it's just so easy, so quick to do. Obviously, if it's a sensitive document, I might still save it in the personally encrypted folder that I have in pCloud. But for all the other collaboration needs that I need to share quickly, Google Drive it is. So mix and match your tools, right? Also, like in a head-to-head comparison, pCloud comes up a little bit short in terms of features and usability. But that doesn't mean pCloud isn't capable of collaboration. It just doesn't do it as well as Google Drive or Dropbox. For example, what I use a lot in pCloud is the ability to have people upload something into your folder, right? So you can create an upload folder where you can send it to a colleague, to a teammate, to a client, and have them upload files that you require for another project to finish. Very useful. I use it all the time. So that's how you can also collaborate in pCloud. It just doesn't do it as well as Google Drive or Dropbox. And for my personal account, and more importantly for my private data, tax documents, financial records of any kind, health data, right? pCloud checks all the boxes here because it's end-to-end encrypted. The cloud storage landscape has never been more competitive. And for us as reviewers, it's good because it makes it interesting. We can produce more videos and we'd like to entertain you guys. And if you like it, give it the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos. And it's also great news for you guys because each of these services has gotten significantly better over the past years. And there's no truly bad choice among them. There are a few black sheep that we point out here in the channel that you should absolutely avoid. Make sure to check them out and to browse our channel for those. But I'm really interested in what is your experience with these services? Have you found features I missed or encountered issues that I didn't mention? Drop a comment below and let me know which direction you're leaning and why. And if this comparison helped you make a decision, hit that like button and subscribe for more in-depth tech comparisons that actually matter. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.